The trade war between the United States and China in 2025 has escalated into a full-scale economic crisis. Stock markets are crashing, supply chains are suffocating, and the two superpowers are rapidly approaching the brink of total financial war. Inflation is rising, American farmers are drowning in unsold crops, and Chinese factories are losing their biggest clients. Even tech giants like Apple and Tesla have found themselves caught in the crossfire. And what is most alarming? Neither Washington nor Beijing intends to back down. This is no longer just a dispute over tariffs. It is a struggle between two powers sinking deeper into a prolonged and painful economic confrontation with global consequences. If you care about your wallet, your job, or your future, this is a story you cannot ignore. President Donald Trump announced the introduction of new, sweeping tariffs on Chinese goods, officially to punish China for unfair trade practices. According to Trump, China had been cheating the United States for years, selling more than it bought, stealing technology, destroying American factories, and leaving people jobless. But the tariffs became more than just an economic tool. They turned into a political weapon. Trump sought to show voters on both sides of the ocean that the United States would no longer tolerate injustice. China responded immediately, introducing 34% tariffs on American goods. Instead of easing tensions, the United States went further. Tariffs rose by another 50%, reaching a shocking 84%. Beijing responded in kind. As a result, American tariffs on Chinese imports reached 145%, and Chinese tariffs on American goods hit 125%. This is no longer a dispute. It is a full-fledged economic standoff with no breaks. Why is this much more serious than in 2018? This is not the first conflict between the United States and China. Something similar happened back in 2018 during Trump's first term. But back then, both sides were still trying to negotiate. In 2025, dialogue has all but vanished, and the conflict has shifted into the political arena. Trump wanted to show strength and gain support from workers and factory owners. Tariffs were presented as a battle for American jobs. Hit China, bring manufacturing back home. China, in turn, could not afford to look weak. The Chinese economy was already slowing down. Growth fell below 4%, which is critically low for China. Backing down would have sparked panic at home. So Beijing raised tariffs not only for economic reasons, but also out of national pride. China made it clear it will not be intimidated. Now the trade war is part of a much larger conflict over global influence. Mixed into this are Taiwan, the South China Sea, cyber attacks, and the battle for control over technology. In March of 2025, negotiations between the two countries were officially broken off. Secret meetings were abruptly canceled. The reasons remain unclear. Some say the United States accused China of espionage. Others claim China walked away due to demands on technology and patents. Either way, the talk stopped, and now, the only tools left are new tariffs and threats. The United States imposed tariffs on a wide range of Chinese products, from smartphones and computer chips to solar panels. These are key components for both consumers and businesses. Batteries and vital parts for electric vehicles also got more expensive, a blow to America's green transition. Beijing responded too. China struck at America's most vulnerable sector, agriculture. High tariffs were imposed on soybeans, corn, pork, and beef, the main American exports to China. U.S. cars also became more expensive, including those from Ford and GM, now losing competitiveness in the Chinese market. Aviation parts, especially for Boeing, and cutting-edge tech like semiconductors, a strategic U.S. export, were also hit. In the United States, consumers are starting to feel it. Prices are rising, especially for electronics and home appliances. Inflation, which had recently cooled down, is now climbing again. Farmers are in a critical situation. Warehouses are overflowing, and demand has dried up. Small farms are suffering losses and closing down in large numbers. Big business is also taking a hit. Apple has already warned investors. The conflict with China is the most serious threat in the past 20 years. Tesla's sales are declining in one of its key markets, China. Boeing is losing orders and facing production slowdowns. Yes, some American factories gained short-term advantages from the tariffs, but it is an illusion. Most still depend on Chinese components. Without them, there is no growth and no global competitiveness. In China, things are also deteriorating. Losing access to its largest and most profitable client, the United States, is a devastating blow. The economy continues to slow, and experts warn that growth could fall below 3% if the conflict drags on. Factories that once thrived on American orders are shutting down or running at half capacity. The yuan is under pressure, and supply chains, especially in high-tech industries, are collapsing. Inside Beijing, concern is growing. According to leaks in the press, Chinese officials are scrambling to save the economy without showing weakness. Public anxiety is rising about jobs, prices, and an unpredictable future. Some citizens are openly questioning whether this war with America is worth the price. This is the trillion-dollar question. The sides are trapped in a vicious cycle of escalation. If Washington and Beijing keep raising tariffs and refusing dialogue, the damage could last for years. Markets are already spooked. April was the worst month for the U.S. stock market in recent years. Chinese markets are also plummeting. The World Bank warns, if the trade war continues, it could push the entire world into a new recession. Is this just the first round, or the beginning of something far more destructive? History has already given us grim reminders. In the 1930s, trade wars helped worsen the Great Depression. Tariffs back then became a catalyst for global economic collapse. Are we repeating the same mistake? It is too early to say for sure, but the warning signs are multiplying. The United States and China are playing a dangerous game, with their economies, jobs, and global influence on the line. And the most frightening part, there are no negotiations and no plan B.